Welcome back to the Piping Pastor. Well, it is another really warm day here in El Paso. It is topping, I think, 104 right now. 104, 105. And yeah, people always make the comment, well, it's a dry heat, right? Once you get north of 100 degrees, it's just hot. It's just a hot heat. And yeah, we don't have to deal with the humidity. And I have lived in the South before, so I know 100 degrees, 100% humidity. I know what that's like, and that is miserable. But it is none too fun out here because there's no shade anywhere. There's no trees of any stature whatsoever. So when it's 100 degrees here and full sun, there's just no escape, apart from my lovely smoking room. I'm in my smoking room today. I'm smoking my Peterson. It's the Bent Dublin Killarney Red. My very first pipe, and the only pipe I had for about the first 5 years of my pipe smoking journey. I had one pipe and one tobacco. I've shared that story before. I'm a big fan of this pipe, though. It's what kind of got me started, and I still enjoy it, although I don't smoke it very often. I'll be totally honest with you. I have other pipes that I prefer. It's a great pipe. It's a great smoker. I don't really have the problems with this that a lot of people have with the Petersons, which is the gurgle. So for me, it's a great smoker. And I was like, I just don't get this out enough. Probably because for the first 5 years I smoked nothing but this. And in this today, I am smoking my Bijou mixture, which has become, of late, kind of a Frankenstein blend. Because I have 2 jars of this Bijou mixture. Of course, the Bijou mixture I've also spoken about before. It's a half and half mix of Cornell Dale's Bijou and the Latakia that I got from Sager and Snuff. But of late, I've been, because I had it down about that much in the jar. Whenever I'm packing a pipe with whatever, and I have a little bit too much in the tray, I take that bit of extra and just throw it into my Bijou mix jar and just kind of shake it up. So as of now, it has Bijou and straight Latakia flake, some Joe's blend, some HU Fayum, some Three Nuns, and King's Highway, formerly King's Foil. So it's got a bit of everything in there now, and honestly, it's really rather nice. Although it's a bit moist, as you can tell from all of the reed lights. And if I just sat here and smoked and stopped talking for a minute, things could get going. It would be fine. Or had I had the forethought to dry it out, this wouldn't be an issue right now. But I could just pull like a Johnny Youngin and just zone out for a few minutes and just smoke, get it going. But that's really his thing. I don't want to tread into his footprint. Well, been a lot of protests going on recently. Today, of course, it's the 250th birthday of the Army. And I've noticed that although it's referred to as the Army birthday, since it is coinciding with the birthday of the president, everyone has started referring to it as the anniversary of the Army. Perhaps so they don't confuse the two, or that people will not start attributing the parade and everything with Trump's birthday. I don't know. But whichever way, whatever reasoning for that, today is the celebration of that. And one of the great things about our American democracy is that there are counter protests to that. Now, I'm sincerely hopeful that all these protests remain peaceful and there's no issues. And further, that the people who are protesting, I think they're calling it the No Kings protest, if they're protesting and expressing themselves politically, sure, great, awesome. They're protesting ICE raids and things like that too, I think. Again, fine. That's, that's why the army exists, to protect those rights. I just hope everybody remembers that. At the men and women marching in those parades, volunteered, signed their name on the dotted line to go to some foreign nation and probably die in combat, possibly die in combat, so that the people could have this right to protest. So I hope they remember that as they're protesting and these soldiers are marching. And as I was thinking about that today, I started thinking about this other book of poetry I have that I haven't done any readings out of yet. I bought this at a bookshop in St. Andrews the last time we were back in Scotland visiting. And it's called A Kiss of Thistles. It is an anthology of radical poetry from contemporary Scotland. So this is all contemporary poets, contemporary Scottish poets. And when I first saw it, I was like, this is awesome. I can't wait to get into this. And then, like many of the other books I've gotten and thought was awesome, I can't wait to get into it. I put it on the shelf, read it a few times, and then have done nothing with it since. And it's been almost a year. In my defense, I do have a literal library. I have a little over 500 books. So, and I think they're all great. But getting through all of them, it's going to take us a wee while. Especially because so many of them, I mean, because poetry is not like a novel, right, where you can talk about the overarching themes and so forth. It's like a collection of many novelettes. So like every single page is its own message. From the thinner books like Larkin's Windows, or the really large collections of like Keats and so forth. There's a lot of material in there, which is all great. And I keep telling my wife that's my retirement plan, is just to go through all of these. But until I reach that day, don't have quite that much time. So my apologies for not getting to this sooner. But this one poem in here particular, I thought was really rather fitting with regard to all the actions going on right now in the United States. This is called Futility. Aren't you proud of your efforts to grow heather in the clay soil? With much work and much funding, it will bloom, certainly. But don't take it out of the greenhouses, or it will wither instantly. And while you're thus occupied, the heather on the moor wilts for lack of water, while all the gardeners are in the greenhouses looking after plants on which no root will grow. For those of you who don't know, heather is something that they used to use in Scotland for thatch roofs on the houses. It's essentially a weed. It's a rather tough weed, kind of like straw hay-like kind of a weed, and it's not really good for anything else. Animals don't eat it. It's not fit for consumption for humans or anything. So unless you're, and it grows like a weed, like a literal weed in northern Scotland. There's big, massive fields of heather all across northern Scotland. And unless you're building a thatch roof, there's not a whole lot of use for it. Now, they do nowadays make gems from it, and I have some cufflinks and a watch that are made from heather gem, which is where they dye it and compress it, and it turns to almost like a stone-like material that they can carve. And I've shown those cufflinks before. Perhaps I'll get them out again at some point. But other than that, it's really not very useful, right? So, but in this poem, the person's talking about people making efforts to grow this heather in greenhouses, grow it in clay soil, grow it in really difficult circumstances. And the irony of that is that the stuff that they try to grow in the greenhouse wilts and dies because it doesn't get roots, because clay soil is not fit for growing. In the wild, it would be fine. It grows there just fine. And there's an area around Pitlochry where this heather gems are produced, where the heather grows naturally. But the stuff that grows naturally, if people pay a little attention to it, as I said, it's like a weed. It grows really rather easily and really rather well. Minor amount of tending needed to grow massive amounts of it, but in a greenhouse in clay soil, it's done and over with. Forms no roots and it dies. So when control measures are tried to put in place, when they try to essentially bring it inside, domesticate it, put it inside the greenhouse so they can work in a comfortable environment and not be out in the fields, it yields nothing. And they put lots of effort into it and nothing happens. And the Bible has quite a bit to say about us trying to control all aspects of our lives. Proverbs, Jeremiah, Psalms. There's verses all over where it talks about, trust not yourself, right? And lean not on your own understanding, but trust in the Lord. Or the Lord having plans for you, right? In Jeremiah, the Lord says, I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Not, I know the plans that you have, and I'll try to get you taken, try to get you that taken care of, right? There's aspects of our life, right, that we do absolutely have control over. We're not meant to sit on our hands and do nothing. That's not what that advice is intending. What it's meant to demonstrate to us is that God has ultimate control, and our duty, the thing that we have control over, is to choose to surrender to God. We have that ability, apologies to my Calvinist friends, to accept the will of the Lord in our lives and surrender ourselves unto God. Once we make that decision that God, in God's love and providence, gives us control over, then we need to truly surrender and lay that over. I was having a discussion recently with a person that one of the people in the ministry that I minister to, about just that kind of situation. Everything in the world tells us we should have control. We should have control over everything that we do. We should make sure that we do A, B, and C, and keep all this stuff in line and work hard and and things of that nature. But in reality, the one thing we do have control over, to choose to surrender, we don't, because we think that popular opinion says we should be taking control of our lives and accomplishing things, and if we're not, then we're just being lazy. You can be industrious and still surrender to God. Just make sure that you're being industrious in God's plan, in the field with the heather, rather than building your own greenhouse and staying where it's comfortable and trying to manage everything to your specifications. Use that control that God offers us to give control over. Not only is it more freeing, it puts us in line with God's will. And that's when stuff starts to happen. That's when heather grows. And that's when you can make cufflinks out of it. Well, I'm going to return to my pipe so that I can keep it lit this time and enjoy the rest of my little Frankenstein mix. I hope you all have a lovely week. As always, happy reading.